I'm going to tell you about a frequency that your body produces, that you don't have to listen to any particular meditation or any particular frequency that will help your nervous system heal. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ollie. I help people who are battling with chronic symptoms feel more like themselves again. And what I'm going to teach you right now is a basic frequency that your body produces that you can actively use yourself to begin the healing process. And that means day to day feeling calmer, feeling less anxious, having better focus, less brain fog, better quality sleep, being able to go to social events or see family or work without being wiped out and needing to, lie down in a room on your own and try and recover. So if you're down this road and you are trying to get back to living a normal life and just feeling more like yourself again, you'll find that the route you go down, this is typically the path. And there might be some sort of differences, but this is typically the path, right? Where you go to the doctor, you try and maybe see a specialist, you go for scans, you do this, that, and the other, and there's a sort of disbelief or you've got this thing and this is it, or we don't really know what's going on. And then you're left to the world of alternative medicine, and there's some really cool people within this world, but very often a lot of the stuff doesn't stick. And what I found and what the people I work with find is that they are always at the mercy. That's probably the wrong word to use, but they always need more treatment. So whether that is going to see the acupuncture therapist or to go for an energy healing, whatever it has been that's your choice, you always need that to feel normal. And another thing is supplements. A lot of people are taking supplements and they feel like they've got to carry these supplements around, or they've got to keep buying them and topping them up. And they're kind of at the mercy of it and they don't have any control. So when I talk about frequency, what I'm going to talk about is your heart's rhythm, right? Which is a specific frequency, and how you can actively change it to begin healing your nervous system by moving it out of fight or flight. So here's what happens. I'll try and keep this video as short as possible for you, but I want to give you some control so that you're not feeling like you need something external. I've got to listen to this frequency or do that or do this and go and see this person. When you're in fight or flight, this could have been caused by, well, let's put it this way. Day to day, we get knocked in and out of fight or flight. Every human does. It's part of the nervous system. But when you get stuck in it permanently, this is the issue. And if we look back at our lives, most of us will know the trigger. We'll have a rough idea of maybe where we got pushed into this, where it was like the dominant state. So it could have been chronic stress, like a really stressful period at work. It could have been a traumatic incident or multiple traumatic incidents. It could be an injury, like it was in my case, mixed in with a traumatic incident. It could be an infection, could be an illness. Like those are typically the overriding triggers that push us to be stuck primarily, living in this survival mode. Now here's where the frequency part happens. When you're in survival mode, your heart's rhythm changes and it beats, and it actually looks like this, right? It's an incoherent, erratic rhythm as opposed to a nice, smooth, what's called a sine wave rhythm. So there is a frequency that your heartbeat looks like a specific frequency when you're in this fight or flight response. Now, the reason this is so annoying for us is because when we're in this rhythm, it causes all the frustrations that we're having day to day. So the exhaustion, the pain, the ruminating thoughts, the feeling of despair, the lack of energy, the lack of being able to connect with people, be ourselves, feel normal, laugh, love, connect, like it's just taken away. Because our body is just trying to protect us, but we've got stuck in this survival mode. So when we're in this mode and our heart rhythm is at this particular frequency and it's incoherent and erratic, our brain waves also change and we get stuck in this high beta brainwave. And that's why our thoughts are almost non-stop and they burn us out and we get exhausted by our thoughts, which is a really strange place to be. So if we think about it like this though, coming back to the frequency that you can generate, if you're struggling and you're in this fight or flight mode and super vigilant and anxious and tired, and that's what your heart rhythm looks like, the question is, okay, well, how do we get our heart's rhythm to look and feel like and become the right frequency? That is where we're in a state of balance. And this is where heart coherence comes in. So when your autonomic nervous system is in a state of balance, this is when you feel good. This is when you feel energized but not anxious. This is where you feel calm and grounded. This is where you have that relaxed and focused vibe. This is when your heart rhythm is in this nice, smooth sine wave, right? And it's our natural state. It's how we're supposed to be, really. And we do move in and out of it. We always will, because there's always going to be things that go on where we need to be, super alert. We can't be chilled out and relaxed vibe if we've got a really dangerous threat in front of us. So we need to have that system to work, but we can't be in it all the time. So there is a frequency. When you get into this frequency, and it's a tangible frequency, as you saw from that image, this is a frequency that your body loves, right? And when you begin to implement it and you begin to practice it, it's going to start to move all of your body systems back into balance. Now, being realistic, you're going to feel good when you first do this, but it might only feel a little bit better. And you will probably get a bit of resistance because your nervous system is so locked into this survival mode. You've got to gradually coax it and take time with it. And if you do, though, these systems in your body start to come together. And here's what's really cool, which will help you feel more normal and more like yourself. So as you maintain this heart coherence rhythm, this frequency, your heart is then going to send a message via your vagus nerve, as it always does, but it's going to send a message to your brain to say, brain, we're safe. We're not in fight or flight anymore. There's no danger. You're good. You can adjust and we can get back into balance. And your brain goes, okay, thank you very much. I no longer need to put loads of adrenaline and cortisol into the bloodstream. I don't need to increase your blood pressure. I don't need to increase your heart rate. I don't need to make you super vigilant, dilate your pupils and increase your muscle tension. We just go back into normal mode. So this frequency is that you can generate, right? And there are loads of different ways that you can do this. I've got my own ways of teaching this. There's heart-focused breathing, there's the quick coherence technique, there's elevated emotions, there's lots of different ways you can do it. But the cool thing is that you are the one doing it, right? So you're not needing to get headphones in, you're not needing to watch a video, you're not needing to go and see a practitioner. You're the one that's in control. And once you learn how to do this, it's yours. You can regulate before a busy day. You can regulate, which I like to do also, before sleep. I find that the sleep I get is so much more refreshing, as opposed to that exhaustion sleep where you crash out, you're still kind of in your head as you're trying to fall asleep. And then you wake up, you feel groggy, and you've got to either get caffeine or something to get through the day. Okay, so this is something that, and when I say that generating the frequency, it's just shifting your heartbeat, right? But your heartbeat is a frequency. And you can change it, you can consciously adapt it. And just by some specific practices. And the general thing is, okay, well, what do those practices look like? To begin with, if you just place some attention, whether it's your hand, or if you can do a prayer mudra, you can put 2 fingers, or place your conscious attention in the area of your heart, and you just begin to slow your breathing down, just a little bit slower on the inhale, a little bit slower on the exhale. And you just imagine that as you're breathing in, you're drawing the air into your heart from around the room, just softly. As you breathe out, you imagine that air is just flowing back out. Right? That's a really good place to start. That's called heart-focused breathing. And when you do that and you get into a rhythm with it, your heart rhythm will actually start to change. And it will change its frequency from that incoherent, erratic frequency that's causing all of this frustration and all of these symptoms that you can't work out what they are and what's causing them. And it'll make you feel more normal. Okay? Now, as I said, just be prepared, because I don't think people talk about this enough. And this was the case in my experience. Your nervous system will start to fight back. And it probably has with every treatment that you've done. So if you go to see an acupuncture therapist, or you have an energy healing, or you do lymphatic drainage, or whatever it is you do, even just like a normal Swedish massage, that was a good one. Good, Sean Connery. You will notice that when you've performed a treatment, when you leave, you feel better, right? But sometimes your nervous system can almost fight back and push those symptoms to the surface, because it's like, this is the default. We don't do safety anymore. So being able to self-regulate and perform these sort of techniques and shifting your heart's frequency and rhythm in real time is so important. Because if you can't book in with a practitioner, or you can't get access to a screen or headphones to do this stuff, you just got to be there, right? And then you get into more fight or flight. So this is a frequency that you can generate. There is tons of information on the internet around how to get into heart coherence. If you'd like to find out more about how to do this yourself, I have my own community where I teach this, okay? In a very simple, because I know if you're struggling with these symptoms, you do not need loads of information. You don't need to be overwhelmed. It's a simple practice, a short amount of time every day that you can keep getting better at, and better at, and better at, and give you the support and track your progress as you go through. But I won't talk any more about that. I will link that below if you'd like to find out more. But this is a natural frequency that you can generate, that you've generated before, whether you know it or not, that allows your nervous system to heal, and it means that you have a bit more control. So you can feel that calm, you can get that relief, and then over time you can start to rebuild that stamina and that battery that's probably been drained from battling with these symptoms for such a long time. Anyway, I really hope that was helpful for you. I might see you in another video soon. Take care.